make wings for the dead ones?
You know you're walking right into her trap.
Just looking ahead, dear. Angus hasn't been feeling very well of late.
Hi guys, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Okay, let's get on to the video because we don't have much time. There's a lot to cover and we need to begin. Session is in class. No. Class is in session. So in the video that I made, Mandela Effects, I told you to comment down hi ho for a chance to get a shout out in the next video. And y'all commented, so I'm gonna give you a shout out. Adriana Bundy's 3832, Kate 1127, Bella_holiday. And I do want to make a video on the Corpse Bride. I can't believe I didn't do it for Halloween. Like I wanted to, but I didn't, unfortunately. But I will do it anyway. Coraline 12147. And I have not seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, but if that's the movie that I'm thinking of, then
We used to be friends. Why are you doing this, please?
I don't know if I want to see it. Last but not least, DTB TLM. Thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for supporting me. Thank you all for watching to the end of the video. Do that this time and you make it a shout out in the next video. Subscribe. If you haven't seen the last video, this is part 2. So go check that out before watching this one because you're going to be really confused if you don't. But let's recap for the people who forgot. Because I'm very forgetful, and I know some of y'all are too. What? We just said that obviously the Beldam's a fairy, the cat's a fairy. I have theorized that the people are working with the Beldam that shouldn't be working with the Beldam, but they are. And the grandma sacrificed Coraline to protect YB. So why the heck does she need multiple souls? Why can't she just use the one soul and take it? Because she has other fairies that she made a pact with that require for all of them to get their soul so they are able to move on into the afterlife. And they just need one more soul. And that soul is trying to be taken from Coraline, or previously from YB, but since the grandma sacrificed Coraline, now Coraline.
Why does she want me?
And oh right, I'm not done recapping. I was thinking much too small. I thought that originally that the fairies were in the other world, but y'all said no, they are just the creations of the Beldam. They can't possibly be the fairies. But what if the fairies are not in the other world? What if the fairies are living in the real world, in the Pink Palace?
I am the amazing Bobinski.
Mr. Bobinski, Miss Spink, and Miss Forcible.
You're blind as a bat.
They are fairies. How in the world are they fairies? How is this possible? Well, we know that fairies can travel from the real world to the other world easily, no problem. The cat does it, he's a fairy.
How do you taste?
That's where we were. Now you are caught up. Look, it didn't start off this way. Miss Forcible, Miss Spink, Mr. Bobinski were not fairies when they moved into the Pink Palace.
You are in terrible danger.
But that's because these characters right here are not Miss Spink, Miss Forcible, and Mr. Bobinski.
Call me Mr. B.
They are just replicas of the real people. When the grandma rented out 2 people, Miss Spink and Miss Forcible were the real deal, and Mr. Bobinski was too. See, when Mr. Bobinski moved in, he was part of the Chernobyl disaster. The reason that he is blue is because of the whole radiation that occurred in Chernobyl. Back when that happened, to stop the fires, I guess, they had to pour sand over it to calm it down. And this sand, well, was very radioactive. And so when he came to Oregon and settled down in the Pink Palace, the Beldam and him had a little chat, and he brought so much sand from the Chernobyl disaster, brought it to the Beldam, which is how she's able to create these characters like the doll and YB. The reason she's able to create these characters are because of Mr. Bobinski himself. So he is pretty much responsible for all of it. But the Beldam does not play fair. Although Mr. Bobinski was trying to spare his life, the Beldam loves to play games. And like the cat said in the book, something along the lines of the ability for the cat to play for its prey is a merciful one because it allows the occasional prey to escape. And the beldam does the exact same thing. The beldam is the predator. Mr. Bobinski and literally everyone else in the story are the prey. And she plays with them. And it's merciful in their eyes because it allows for the occasional prey to escape. Just like Coraline was able to escape in the movie and in the book. Although some of y'all believe she didn't. So the beldam does not play fair and killed Mr. Bobinski.
Everybody likes games.
Will, Miss Spink, and Miss Forcible also moved in. They were also killed, unfortunately, and they were replaced. Mr. Bobinski, Miss Spink, and Miss Forcible were all replaced by fairies, and since fairies are able to transition, they are able to shapeshift into anyone they possibly want to shapeshift into. They shapeshifted into Miss Spink, Miss Forcible, and Mr. Bobinski. There are your fairies. There are 4. Or 5 if you count the cat. Why do I think they were replaced by fairies, and why do I think that they were killed and they are working with the beldam? The house is located in a very remote area, in an area where if you see all over it, you can literally see no house in sight. It is very far away from literally anything. So it is a place where almost no one would want to live because they would waste so much gas just trying to get out of that little area. But why on earth would this house be in a very remote area like that? Well, so that no one can hear little children scream for help. Or adults even.
Yeah, I think I heard someone calling me, Jonesy.
Mr. Bobinski, Miss Spink, and Miss Forcible were probably all screaming for their life, but no one can hear them because they are very, very far away from any house at all. The closest house is probably YB's grandma's house.
Oh, I definitely heard someone.
Grandma.
Like I said in the last video, the beldam manipulated the grandma into sacrificing another child for YB. So Coraline came along. She was now the prey. It's all a master plan, honestly. The grandma sacrifices a child. Miss Spink, Miss Forcible, and Mr. Bobinski all spy on the child, and when they are not around, the doll spies on the child, making sure that she goes through the little door. And I know you're saying, wait, Mr. Bobinski literally said not to go into the little door, but do you think a child's gonna listen? Do you think if you tell a child to not do something, they are not gonna do it? You think they're gonna listen? No. It's gonna instill curiosity into them. Mr. Bobinski knows this. The fairy, Mr. Bobinski, knows this. And they tell Coraline not to go through the little door. But Coraline does because curiosity killed the cat. And that's what they're hoping for. And notice how they all completely mess up her name. Instead of saying Coraline, they say Caroline all the time, even though Coraline always corrects them.
They even get your name wrong, you know? They call you Coraline instead of Caroline.
Still Coraline, Miss Spink.
They just blatantly ignore her and keep calling her Caroline. Why? Why do you think this is? Well, see, the thing is, names hold power. If you know a name, you hold power and control over the person's name that you know, right? So if you know your own name, you're in control of yourself. If you don't know your own name, then, ooh, my God, you are about to lose control of yourself. And they are preparing her to not know her name.
Who are you?
Don't remember our names.
The ghosts don't know their own name. Once they pass away, the name is the first thing to go. In the book, they literally say that. And so they're preparing her to not know her name. Also, to make it like the real world is worse than the fake world. Think about it. Mr. Bobinski controls the rats. The rats tell her to go into the little door. Miss Forcible, Miss Spink are able to tell the future.
They'll tell me your future.
which is why how the Beldam is able to know how Coraline looks like so that she can create the doll before she moves in. So it's all a master plan. It's all a great plan to trap Coraline.
But it's all a trap.
Also, fairies love games so much. The cat loves games, the Beldam loves games, and the other fairies like Miss Pink and Miss Forcible love games. Also, Mr. Babinski, when he said don't go through the little door, that's a game. And the Miss Forcible and Miss Pink play that game with the hackstone. They're like, here you go.
No, they're good for lost things.
This is a hackstone. Do with that what you will. Because at this point of the movie, she doesn't want to go back into the world.
Not in a million years.
But they were like, okay, here's a hackstone. They're good for finding things. They're good for bad things. You use it how you want and try to find your parents, I guess. But they don't care about the parents.
Oh, yes. Your missing parents.
They're just, here you go. You do with it what you will, and what happens? She gets encouraged to go back into the other world to try and save her parents.
You know you're walking right into her trap.
And she takes the hackstone with her. So it was just for encouragement to go back in through the little door, back into the other world, so that Coraline becomes prey and becomes dead. By the way, who do you think were the ones to steal her parents? Who is out there in the other world? Mr. Bobinski, Miss Pink, and Miss Forcible. They were the ones to get the parents and trap them in the other world. So what the heck is the hackstone? What is up with these dates? Where did it come from? What about it? Well, okay, so she opens up this little chest and it has 3 dates, right? 1950, whatever in this date, I guess. In 1960. That is when the twin grandma was captured, and this is the dates of the other children when they were captured as well. It fits the timeline. It fits our timeline. What the deal? What is this? What is this? Why is there 3? And why are they perfect match for the children that are dead? Ask yourself this: how the heck did the fairies survive for so long without any children to eat?
She just loves something to eat.
Mothers don't eat daughters.
I don't know.
The Beldam eats bugs. Mr. Bobinski has rats, and he can eat them. Miss Pink and Miss Forcible, they have dogs. They have so many stuffed dogs, so many dead dogs. They eat their insides, stuff them.
Don't you only make wings for the dead ones?
Just looking ahead, dear.
That's how they survive. So, Beldam has bugs, Bobinski has rats, Miss Pink and Miss Forcible have dogs, and what the heck is the deal with these hackstones? Well, Miss Pink and Miss Forcible collect dead bodies, and that is no different for the children. What if once the children were dead, obviously their bodies had to go somewhere, and the bones had to go somewhere, and they were turned into this candy, which is why they match each date of the children's death. That is crazy. That is horrible, and that is something to think about. But I'm running out of time, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to know what you think. Comment down fairy stones for a chance to win a shout out in the next video. Thank you so much. I love you. Goodbye.